Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the certificate course in vocabulary building. This is Unit 1 Introduction to Vocabulary Part 2. How can one improve one's vocabulary? In the previous lesson, we explored the reasons and the benefits of developing a good vocabulary. In this lesson, we will look at what you need to do to improve your vocabulary and discuss the different strategies that could help you to expand your vocabulary and keep improving it every day. So, how can one improve one's vocabulary in the most effective way? Let us look at the strategies given below. There are about 5 different strategies. So, first thing, listen and read voraciously. Voraciously means a lot. Okay, listen and read a lot. Second one is to choose the right dictionary. Third is to know that the same words can have different meanings. Right, a knowledge about this will really help you. And fourth one is to dive deeper into the word origin, that is etymology. Right, knowing, breaking down words, knowing their, getting to know the individual parts of the words, and then trying to guess the meaning out of that can really help you. Fifth one is to revise new vocabulary regularly. So these are the different strategies that could help you. Let us look at the first one. Listen and read voraciously. So the first thing to do is to read plenty of English written material. You may have already, you may already be reading novels, fiction, detective novels. There's Sherlock Holmes, you have Agatha Christie. Then, you can start with short stories also. If you're not interested in reading, books as such, you can start reading short stories. Like, for example, you can read Ruskin Bond, you can read Jhumpa Lahiri. There are many short story writers. Dylan Thomas is there. So search for some short stories. All right. For example, there is this short story. It's called The Yellow Wallpaper. All right. It's Gothic fiction. You can read that. So start reading. All right. And reading meaning you have to start exploring. So this will deepen your understanding of the language. How will it deepen your understanding? Because when you read, you'll find the words, right? You will find some new words. You'll come across new words. You will come across the same words in different, in different contexts. So how to use that word? Reading really helps. It has helped me a lot. I would also suggest that you read. If you really, really want to improve your vocabulary, you will have to read. Okay, so read plenty of English written material. And if you're not comfortable with reading books, you can always go to newspapers, right? Start with newspapers, read news websites on the internet. Okay, even this will really help you. So you may have, sometimes what people do is they try to learn vocabulary by memorizing words from a dictionary. All right, this obviously it does not work. Okay, because it does not help you remember words for longer periods of time. You may never you actually use it also. You may just keep memorizing words. So this does not work. Do you know why? Because it's because you are trying to learn the words in isolation. Learning words in isolation and learning words in context are two different things, right? I will try to explain that to you here. So isolation, what does isolation mean? It means to learn random words from a dictionary or just random words in isolation. There is no context behind it. There is no idea behind why, how to use that word, where you will use that word, where you might have to use that word. You have no idea at all. So you just open a dictionary, start learning the words in the dictionary. First 10 pages, 1 week, you study. For 1 week, you keep a target. I will study the first 10 pages of the dictionary and you just go on learning by hearting, the words. That will really not help you. That method is not effective at all. So learning words in isolation will not help you. So it can be said that a word in isolation has no definite meaning. Okay. So the meaning only becomes apparent when the word is placed in context. So what does it mean to learn words in context? In context means to use the words that surround the new word that you are learning. The other words, the other ideas that are there around that new word, that one word that you've come across, which is not familiar to you. Okay, you have to try to guess the meaning of the word. Guessing is one thing that you have to become good at, right? It can be a skill, guessing. So It's not like you always have to go to a dictionary. Constantly going to the dictionary will be a problem. It can be really, it might hinder your flow of reading and everything. So rather than that, you have to guess the meaning of the words using context clues. So you may have to, what will happen? Somebody might ask you the meaning of a word. So you will have to ask them, read the full sentence. Okay, you might ask them, read the full sentence. So sometimes you may have to read the entire sentence or the paragraph and use the context clues that are there to identify the meaning of that word, to identify the meaning of the new word that you are unfamiliar with. So this is context. Reading the entire sentence or reading the whole paragraph to get an idea about the word. You're trying to guess the meaning of the word here. All right. So in this way, you should learn words in isolation and not in context. For example, let us look at this example here. Instead of memorizing the phrasal verb to come up with is a phrasal verb. So instead of memorizing it, what you can do is you can study this. You can study this as part of the phrase to come up with an idea. To come up with what? To come up with an idea. Right? In this way, you will definitely remember the phrase to come up with. So this way, you make sure that you actually know how to use this verb in at least one sentence, right? So that is how you've learned this vocabulary. At least in one sentence, you will know how to use this phrasal verb. Now, this is all about reading. What about listening? So listening is also very important. Why? Because it helps you understand how the words sound. So it's not just about spelling, right? It's not just about spelling, it's also about the pronunciation. It's not just about the spelling and meaning, but also about the pronunciation of words. So pronunciation, spelling are also part of learning words. That is why you need to listen. Right? You can listen to news on the radio, you can play English music, right? And again, when you listen to when you read or when you listen, you might find that some words might have different spellings, or the words might be pronounced differently. This is because there are varieties of English. There is British English, there is American English. The Americans pronounce words differently, they spell words differently. All right. Generally, I would suggest you to learn the British spellings and so on, but it is your choice. Right. Standard academic writing would prefer, I think in India, we prefer, universities would prefer you to use the British English, but that depends on you. All right. So both, obviously, they will not cut your marks if you use the American spelling, obviously not, but you will, so if you want to study American English, then American accent, their style, then you would have to maybe listen to American music. That would help you better. All right. But if you want to improve your, understanding in the British accent or the spellings, that is British spellings and so on, then you can listen or read the British authors and so on. Okay. So this is why reading and listening is very important. So in other words, what I'm telling you to do is to completely immerse yourself in the English language. Just go out there, explore, read, listen to English material, music, and so on. This is the first strategy that you can adopt to really improve your vocabulary. All right, reading, listening, going into the English language. Now, next one, that is to choose the right dictionary. Yes, you have to learn that there are different types of dictionaries. All right. So here, a good dictionary can be an invaluable tool. You agree? Yes, you agree. A good dictionary can be an invaluable tool. So choosing the right dictionary for your level is also very important. Right? Not just going to any dictionary, but choose a dictionary that is suitable to your level. For the UG level, I would say a learner's dictionary would really help you. So if you are a learner, then you must use a learner's dictionary, not an advanced learner's dictionary. That will not really help you, because I will tell you what a learner's dictionary is. So a learner's dictionary is a dictionary specifically built to suit the needs of a beginner or an intermediate language learner. Right? It will give you clear definitions in simple language, and also many examples to learn in context. So I told you, study words not in isolation but in context, right? So you have to study you have to read the entire sentence and then understand how it is used in different contexts. So the learner's dictionary will give you a lot many examples so that you can understand better. So they may also contain tips to help you avoid making errors and help you with confusing words. So these learner's dictionaries, sometimes they are built by, actually having analyzed or done some research. So they will have looked at learners of the English language and what sort of common errors they make. By noticing that, they may have actually made these learners dictionaries so that they can help you avoid those common errors. So there will be tips in those books, tips which will really, really help you in avoiding mistakes. So they may also contain images, illustrations. Even visual memory is also, visual learning is also very important. So it might be fun to look at all those images and learn new vocabulary. It might be easy also. It might become easier for you to really understand what a word means by looking at the word, by looking at the object. Then these learners dictionaries will have extended entries, right? So they will that provide information on pronunciation, meaning, context, usage, collocation, synonyms. So if you're a learner, then you will require to know the pronunciation. If you're a learner, you will require the context. You will require examples, collocations, all of this. We will look in the next units, the upcoming units. We will look at what collocations are, what synonyms are. All right, don't worry about that right now. So then, for example, I would suggest that you could, get a Cambridge Learner's Dictionary or an Oxford Learner's Dictionary, but it doesn't matter. I mean, just get a Learner's Dictionary. All right. First, look into the Learner's Dictionary, uh, find a suitable one for you, and this will really help you. All right. Choosing the right dictionary will really help you. So once you buy the dictionary, what do? You start memorizing words from the dictionary. Is that what you're going to do? Obviously not. I told you not to memorize words from the dictionary, right? But referring to dictionaries when you come across an unfamiliar word is a good practice. So do that. All right. Refer to the dictionary regularly. Then, third point. So the third point is to know that the same words can have different meanings. In English, many words in English have several different meanings. Look at this example here. Crane, the word crane. So there are two sentences here. That bird is a crane. That bird is a crane. And they have to use a crane to lift the object, right? So here the word crane has two different meanings, right? The second sentence, they had to use a crane. Here you can't think of a bird. How can you use a bird to lift something, right? Obviously not. So the word crane here has two different meanings. So in that way, you should know that in English, the same words might have different meanings. So the meaning of a word can depend on how it functions in a sentence. All right, we'll speak about this. I will explain it to you, how it functions in the sentence, in what context it is used, and on any connotative associations the word might have. Okay, don't worry, I will explain this. So let us try to understand this in 2 points. Point number 1, word classes. Point number 1, word classes. How the word functions in a sentence. So in order to fully understand the meaning of a word, you need to know how it functions in the sentence. You must have heard about parts of speech, right? Noun, pronoun, adjective, right? So this is what I want you to learn. So we will look at word classes later on in this course. There will be a separate unit, a separate video on it. So in order to fully understand the meaning of a word, you need to know how it functions in the sentence. Is it performing the function of a noun? Is it a verb? So is it a thing or a person? Is it trying to describe something? Is it an action? Is it trying to describe an action? So this is what you need to first understand. All right, understand. That is, try to know if this word is a noun or an adverb or what is it. Right? Then you can also use a knowledge of suffixes. We will speak about suffixes in the upcoming videos. So you can also use the knowledge of suffixes to guess the part of speech. Having a knowledge of word classes can help you to find the right meaning of a word in a dictionary. But you must also know this can help you. This point number 1, knowing word classes can help you, but You must also know that words can have connotative meanings. So this brings us to point number 2, connotative meaning. What is connotative meaning? Words can have two kinds of meanings that convey very different ideas or images. Right? The same word can have two different meanings, completely different. So they are these two different meanings are called denotative meaning and connotative meaning. Now look at this sentence here. Stay away from that man. He's a snake. Right? So what does this sentence mean? Is the man a snake? How can a man be a snake? He's a man, right? He's a person. How can he be a snake or a reptile? So, so this word snake here, it doesn't just have one meaning. It has a connotative meaning. All right. So the denotative meaning. What is the denotative meaning? Let's look at what denotative and connotative meaning is first. The denotative meaning of the word, of any word for that matter, is its basic meaning or dictionary meaning, dictionary definition. So if you go to a dictionary, if you open the pages of a dictionary, search for the word snake, you will find that a snake is a reptile with a long body and no legs, right? But here you cannot apply that in this sentence. Stay away from that man, he's a snake. You cannot apply that definition there, right? So the snake here has a connotative meaning. So what is connotative meaning? So connotative meaning exists in addition to the denotative meaning, in addition, that is beyond. So you have a meaning. A snake obviously means a reptile, but beyond that you have some other meaning. And what is that meaning here? It is something that is evil or dangerous. So this man, you have to stay away from that man. Why? Because he is evil, he is bad, or he's dangerous. Okay, he's like a snake. Okay, so the word snake here has a, the people have an association with it. So probably this comes from the Bible, where the snake had tempted Adam and Eve, all right, to commit sin. So that is why probably a snake is considered to be evil. So word's connotation is the feeling or impression that people associate with the word. This is connotation. So words can have connotative meanings too, not just the literal definition from a dictionary, but some other meaning. So you should know this, right? Let's look at another example here. I found my home in you. I found my home in you. How can a home be in a person? Because a home is actually a place, right? How can it be in a person? That cannot make sense. So a home has a connotative meaning, right? And what is that? A home, telling that you are my home, I find my home in you. It could mean that this person feels comfortable or feels loved by this other person. So he or she says, I find my home in you. I find my family, my comfort, my everything in you. So you are like my home. Okay. So the word home has a connotative meaning. So you, by looking at these 2 points, you understood that words always may not mean the same as given in the dictionary, right? So when looking up a word in a dictionary, note how many meanings are listed in the dictionary entry. So once you look up for the word crane, maybe you will see that the word crane in the dictionary has different meanings. So you should look at the class. Okay, is it a verb? Is it a noun? It will be given in the dictionary. The first entry will be crane, beside it will be a noun, and you have the meaning of that word. In the next entry, it might be there, and on the side, it might be given as an adjective, so the meaning will be given. So in this way, when you're looking up a word, don't just look at the first meaning that is given. Most dictionaries place the most frequent meaning on the top. So you find the first meaning there and you think that, okay, this is the meaning of the word. No, that won't be correct. All right. So a good dictionary would place a word in each of its possible contexts and explain its meaning in each case. So if it is a noun, if it's a verb, a good dictionary would really help you do that. Some dictionaries, are very small and they won't give you the different meaning. They give you one meaning and the rest is left for you to guess. So a good dictionary would also give you the connotative meaning, the connotative associations that are there to that word. It might also give you that. So if you're not sure whether you found the meaning. So there will be different meanings, and you're trying to find which meaning suits you the best, right? So reading, you found this unfamiliar word in a sentence, and you're trying to get look up the dictionary meaning of it. So if you're not sure whether you found the meaning that matches your context, look at the other meanings that are given and check the example sentences also to see if any of them match the context in which you found the word. Look at the examples given, look at the other meanings that are given. Don't just look at the first meaning. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this might help you. So these 2 points, that is learning word classes, learning the connotative meanings of words. It's not about learning the connotative, you have to become familiar with it. Okay, so as and when you find words that you don't understand, go to the dictionary. The dictionary might tell you that this word has a connotative meaning. Now, I want you to look up into the dictionary and maybe try finding other words that have other, that have connotative meanings, not just the dictionary meaning, but connotative meanings. Do that, all right? So, learning this might help you in finding the right meaning of a word. So by knowing that a word not just has one meaning, but can have several different meanings, this will help you to find the right meaning of a word. Just having a dictionary there won't help you. You have to know to find the right meaning of a word. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. The 4th point there, dive deeper into the word origin. Yes. So English vocabulary words are formed from different sources, especially in Latin, Greek, French. Okay. So these words, the words in the English language, they will be borrowed from, or they will be formed from different sources. So knowledge of the root words and the word formation often helps in understanding of unfamiliar words. So you come across a large word there, when you're reading, you come across a word. What you should do is you should try to guess the meaning of the word. And how can you, what will help you in guessing the meaning of the word? If you break down the word into its different parts, into its roots, prefix, suffix, and then try to make sense of the word, it will definitely help you in, knowing the meaning of the word. It need not be that you always go to a dictionary constantly. Rather than that, guessing is very important. Okay, first you guess. So I will tell you how to, maybe guess the meaning of a word by learning the roots, prefix, and suffixes. Now, let's take a look at this word here, metamorphosis. Metamorphosis. It has its origin in 3 Greek. I won't call them as words. They are morphemes. They are units. Okay, so you have 3 different units here. They're all from Greek. The prefix meta means it comes from a Greek word which means beyond or change. And the root morph, which comes from another Greek word, it means a shape. And the suffix osis, O-S-I-S, it comes from Greek as well, and it means a state or process. So when you break down the words into these units and then you learn the meaning of the words, you try to guess the meaning of the words by breaking them down, it will really help you. We will be covering this in another unit. There's a separate unit for prefixes, suffixes, and root words. Now here, so the English word metamorphosis would have something to do with the process of changing shape. Morph means shape, right? And the prefix change, and you have the suffix process. So the process of changing shape, right? Once you begin recognizing words that share similar roots, you might find the word, the unit there, morph in other words. When you find the word, the unit morph in other, that it's called a morpheme, by the way. All these units, small units, when you break down words, they're morphemes. Each unit becomes a morpheme. It's called a morpheme. So if you find these in other words, then you will be able to guess the meaning because you already know that the root word morph means shape. So you'll be able to guess the meaning of new words. This makes, learning enjoyable because you're trying to guess, and then you look into a dictionary and you find that you have guessed correctly. You will slowly start enjoying learning new words. So listed below are examples of other words with the root morph. Have a look at it. You have amorphous there, not having a fixed shape. Morph, right? You have morph, what shape? Amorphous means not having a fixed shape. Polymorph, change into many shapes. Anthropomorphic is human shaped. Anthrop is a human. Anthropomorphic is human shaped. A human shaped creature, maybe something like that. So by knowing a word's etymology or word origin, one can more easily remember its dictionary definition. So first you try to guess the meaning of the word when you come across an unfamiliar word by looking at its, breaking down that word, you try to guess, and then you go to the dictionary, right? And then this will definitely help you remember the dictionary definition better. Okay, so next part, the fifth strategy there is to revise new vocabulary regularly. Obviously, you have to practice, right? So remembering and using the new words is a challenge. It's not just about learning, it's also about revising. Practice is important because it's really very hard for language learners to remember the words that they have learned. So memorizing is obviously not effective, right? So it would be a waste of time and effort if you forget the words that you have tried to learn. So you have to practice. So make it a habit to take down new vocabulary in a notebook and practice using those words as often as you can. Memorizing random words in isolation, I've already told you that it is not an effective way to improve your vocabulary. So always study words in context. Okay. And reading, I would would emphasize on reading. Reading is the best strategy. According to me, it is the best strategy to learn new words in context. So as you read, you may come across the same word, but in different contexts. Okay, this will help you learn to use the right word in a given context. So on an ending note, I would say that it is critical to understand. You should know that building vocabulary cannot take place in a day or within 2 days, within a month, within a year. It is a process, okay? And it is a habit that you need to cultivate. It needs a conscious effort from your part. So the moment you come, you have to put in some effort. Okay, it just can't happen. You can't keep reading books. So, if you come across a word which is not familiar to you, you have to put an effort to use the dictionary, right? So the moment you come across a word that you don't understand, a reflex action should come into play. Okay, you should first try to guess the meaning, right? You should start thinking about trying to guess the meaning using the context clues that are there. If that doesn't work, then you should use a dictionary. So this will sound intrusive at first. It may stop the flow of your reading, but let's remember that anything that you want to build as a habit can be intrusive at first. Okay, so at first it might, really hinder you, but then it will, on the long run, it will really help you. So don't give up. Keep learning and practice regularly. So that is all for today. See you all in the next session. Thank you.